Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we go any further, I need you to feel this, not just hear it. There's a woman in your life right now who seems to be drifting, getting quieter, slower to reply, a little more distant, and your gut says you're losing her. But what if the truth is more unsettling than that? What if she's not pulling away because she cares less, but because she cares too much and it terrifies her? If you've ever felt that shift and couldn't explain it, subscribe and like this video right now, because what you're about to understand will change how you see her behavior forever. I'm speaking to you not just as a psychologist, but as a woman who knows what happens inside a female mind when emotions go from interest to attachment. Most men think love makes women come closer. Sometimes it does. But when feelings get deep, real, and risky, another force wakes up: fear. And fear does not move toward you. Fear steps back, observes, protects, calculates. You notice she's thinking more before she speaks. You feel a new caution in her energy. She's still there, but less exposed. And you assume attraction is fading. That assumption is where most men make the fatal mistake. Because when a woman begins to imagine a future with you, not just dates, not just fun, but emotional dependency, her brain switches from excitement mode to protection mode. Understand this clearly. Emotional investment raises the stakes. The more she feels, the more she has to lose. Her heart starts asking dangerous questions. What if he leaves? What if I need him more than he needs me? What if I'm not enough? These questions don't make her cling. They make her retreat just enough to feel safe again. So her distance is not always disinterest. Sometimes it's emotional self-defense. And if you misread that moment, you don't just lose attraction. You confirm her fear was right all along. You start noticing something subtle but powerful. She's not gone. She hasn't disappeared. In fact, she still shows up, but differently. Her words are more measured, her reactions more controlled. She used to text you the moment something happened in her day. Now she pauses, edits herself, decides what parts of her world you get to see. To you, it feels like fading interest. To her, it feels like regaining emotional balance before she falls too fast. When a woman begins to truly value a man, her inner world becomes louder than her outer behavior. She starts observing you more closely than before. How you react when things don't go your way, how you speak about other people, whether your words and actions match. This isn't her losing excitement. This is her assessing emotional safety at a deeper level. Attraction brings her near. Attachment makes her careful. You might even sense she's holding something back when she talks. That's because vulnerability now carries weight. Earlier, sharing felt light, playful, low risk. Now it feels like handing you pieces of her emotional core, and no woman does that freely once her heart is involved. She needs evidence you can handle it without dropping it. So instead of leaning in emotionally, she regulates herself. She takes longer to respond, not to play games, but to avoid appearing emotionally dependent. She chooses calm over impulsive affection. She avoids saying things she can't take back. All of this looks like distance from the outside. Internally, it's emotional investment meeting self-protection. Here is the truth most men miss. When she didn't care deeply, she had nothing to lose. She could be carefree, expressive, spontaneous. Now she's aware that you matter. And when someone matters, the fear of rejection or imbalance grows quietly in the background. She doesn't want to scare you away by feeling too much. So she steps back just enough to feel in control again. Now you begin to see another shift, one that confuses men the most. She becomes emotionally strong on the surface, less needy, less reactive, almost independent to the point where you wonder if she even needs you at all. But this isn't detachment. This is emotional dignity protecting growing attachment. When feelings deepen, a woman's greatest fear isn't just losing you, it's losing herself inside you. She's seen it happen before. She's watched women make a man their emotional center only to be left shattered when things changed. So when her heart starts leaning toward you, her mind pulls her posture upright. She reminds herself she has a life, identity, boundaries, strength. Not because she wants distance, but because she's trying not to disappear in love. You might notice she stops over-explaining herself, stops chasing conversations that go quiet, stops seeking constant reassurance. To you, this can feel like fading effort. In reality, it's controlled investment. She's choosing to give emotionally without abandoning her self-respect. That balance is hard, especially when feelings are strong. Here's the psychology behind it. Emotional attraction creates desire to connect. Emotional risk creates desire to stay safe. When both exist at the same time, behavior looks contradictory. She cares, but she contains it. She wants closeness, but she moderates it. She feels deeply, but she shows selectively. And the more she respects you, the more careful she becomes with her emotional exposure. She doesn't want to be the woman who loses composure, who gives everything too fast, who feels foolish later. So she regulates herself. That regulation feels like distance to men who equate affection with constant availability. But understand this, indifference looks careless, fearful attachment looks controlled. She's not relaxed because she's losing interest. She's composed because the stakes have become real. And when a woman starts guarding her emotional pace around you, it's often because her heart has quietly stepped closer than she planned. Then comes the sign that almost every man misreads. She becomes more sensitive to small shifts in your behavior, but pretends she isn't. She notices the tone change in your voice, the shorter reply, the delayed response, the slight distraction when she's talking. And instead of confronting you emotionally, she pulls back a little more, not to punish you, to protect herself from feeling too much. When a woman is only casually interested, she doesn't analyze your mood. She doesn't track emotional details. But when she's invested, your emotional state starts to affect her internal stability. Your warmth relaxes her. Your distance unsettles her. And that level of impact is exactly what scares her. So she acts like she doesn't notice. She gives you space when she actually wants reassurance. She becomes calmer when she actually feels more, because reacting openly would expose how deeply you're affecting her. And that feels dangerous if she's not yet certain she's emotionally safe with you. This is where men often make the wrong move. You interpret her calmness as emotional cooling, so you match it. You reduce effort. You become less expressive. And now her fear finds confirmation. I knew it. I was feeling more than he was. That thought pushes her further into self-protection. Understand the psychology. Emotional investment heightens perception. She's reading between your words, sensing your energy, watching your consistency. Not because she's looking for flaws, but because her heart is quietly asking, can I trust this? Can I relax here? Until she feels secure, she won't show how much she's already feeling. Her slight withdrawal is not a signal of boredom. It's emotional caution triggered by growing attachment. The more you matter, the more carefully she moves. And if you respond with steadiness instead of confusion, you don't chase her. You create the safety that allows her to step forward again on her own. Now, here's a truth that men rarely realize. The signs she's pulling back are often paired with subtle, almost invisible signals that she's still deeply invested. You might catch fleeting moments, a quick smile that lingers too long, eyes that search for yours even when her body language seems distant, or the way she remembers tiny details about your life that no casual interest would track. These are not contradictions. They are proof of her internal tug-of-war, desire clashing with fear. The more she feels for you, the more she guards herself. She wants to protect the emotional bond before it even fully exists. You see, emotional depth amplifies anxiety. Every vulnerable thought becomes a potential risk. Every word of love or need carries stakes. And when fear enters the mix, her instinct isn't to rush forward. It's to slow down, to measure, to test the waters before exposing her full heart. You might notice she starts initiating less, even though she clearly still wants connection. She might joke instead of confessing, tease instead of touching, or shift topics when things get too intimate. This is not avoidance of you. It's avoidance of emotional overexposure. She's testing whether the foundation is safe before she lets herself truly lean in. Here's what most men fail to see. Distance isn't always disinterest. It's often the silent acknowledgement that her feelings have deepened and she's afraid of being hurt, rejected, or misunderstood. She doesn't step back to punish or confuse you. She steps back to protect herself and the emotional investment she's made in you. And paradoxically, the deeper her feelings, the more pronounced this behavior can appear. The man who misreads this will panic, push, or withdraw himself, confirming her fear. But the man who understands it, who stays consistent, calm, and trustworthy, creates an invisible safety net. That net allows her to gradually reveal her feelings without fear. So if you feel her distance, look closer. Notice the small, fleeting signals of attachment. Watch for the quiet ways she still shows she's invested. Her heart hasn't left. Her fear has temporarily taken the lead. And this is where most men miss their chance to strengthen the bond, because they confuse the fear-driven retreat with fading love. Here's a truth that will hit you hard. She's thinking about the future with you, even when her actions seem to say the opposite. She imagines scenarios, tests outcomes in her mind, and weighs your reactions, all silently, all privately. You may see hesitation, but inside, her mind is racing, asking, "Can I trust him with my heart? Can I let myself need him without losing myself?" That mental rehearsal is a clear sign she's deeply invested, even if her behavior looks cautious or withdrawn. When a woman begins to envision a life that includes you, fear becomes the shadow that follows her everywhere. Attachment triggers vulnerability, and vulnerability triggers protection. So she pulls back slightly, even as her feelings intensify. She's balancing desire and caution, heart and mind, wanting you near, but scared to expose herself fully. Every pause, every measured response, every quiet observation is her way of navigating that internal tension. You might notice she tests you subtly. A minor disagreement, a teasing challenge, a question meant to gauge your reaction. She's observing how steady, reliable, and emotionally available you truly are. She's checking to see if you can handle her depth without retreating. And this isn't manipulation, it's instinctual. She needs assurance that the emotional investment she's making is safe. Another sign is how she remembers the smallest details. Your habits, the things that make you feel understood, the moments that left an impact. She does this because she's paying attention at a level casual interest never reaches. She's mapping your world into hers quietly, which is exactly what deep emotional attachment looks like. And here's the harsh irony. Most men panic when they sense her withdrawal, thinking it means rejection. The truth is, the more she pulls back, the more her feelings are actually intensifying internally. Fear is masking love, hesitation is masking desire, and caution is masking the very attachment she's afraid to reveal. If you can recognize this pattern and respond with calm confidence, patience, and consistency, you become the safe harbor she's searching for, the reason she can eventually lower the wall she's carefully built. The moment you understand that her pullback is not disinterest but protection, everything changes. You stop chasing her shadows and start nurturing her heart safely, letting her feel seen, understood, and emotionally secure without forcing her out of her instinctive caution. Now listen carefully, because this is where most men completely miss what's happening. She may start to act unpredictably, hot one moment, distant the next. She might cancel plans, become less talkative, or avoid deep conversations. To you, it feels like confusion, maybe even rejection, but what's really happening is something far more profound. She's negotiating with her own fear while trying to maintain her emotional investment in you. Every action she takes is filtered through the question, is it safe to feel this much? And when emotions are strong, safety is not guaranteed. She's wrestling with the possibility of getting hurt versus the desire to be close. That inner tension makes her behavior appear inconsistent, but in reality, it's incredibly intentional. She's protecting herself while simultaneously trying to maintain connection. You might notice she reaches out in small ways. A message, a subtle compliment, a shared memory, even when she seems distant. These tiny gestures are breadcrumbs of attachment. They're her way of saying, "I care, but I need space to feel secure." If you ignore or misinterpret them, you push her back further. If you respond with patience, understanding, and emotional stability, you give her the room to reconcile her fear with her desire. Another hidden sign. She's paying attention to how you handle boundaries and emotional tension. Every reaction from you is being mentally logged. Can you handle her depth without judgment? Can you remain calm when she's scared or pulled back? These questions determine whether she gradually allows herself to move closer or continues keeping you at arm's length. And here's the final psychological twist. The more invested she is, the more she fears losing control of her emotions. This is why her pullback can feel so sharp and confusing. It's not because her interest is fading, it's because her mind is protecting her heart. Every hesitation, every retreat, every subtle withdrawal is a sign of profound attachment. The deeper the love, the greater the caution. Understanding this changes everything. Instead of feeling rejected, you start seeing the signs of attachment hiding behind fear. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding thoughtfully. You stop chasing and start supporting. You stop misreading distance as disinterest and instead see it as proof of how much she truly cares, even if she isn't ready to show it fully yet. If you can internalize this, you gain a perspective that very few men ever have. You see the love that fear tries to hide. Finally, here's the truth most men never realize. When a woman is deeply invested but pulling away, every action she takes is a test, not of you, but of the emotional safety she feels with you. Her fear isn't about losing interest. It's about losing herself in the process of loving someone who matters. And this is where most men fail spectacularly, because they respond with frustration, confusion, or impatience, the exact triggers that confirm her fear. Notice how she balances proximity and distance. She wants to hear from you, see you, share moments, but she also hesitates. She stays composed, even when her heart is screaming to be closer. That hesitation is not disinterest. It is awareness of how much she already cares and fear of giving too much too fast. She is protecting the fragile space between desire and vulnerability. When you recognize this, you stop interpreting pullback as rejection. You see it as a reflection of attachment growing faster than her sense of security. Her mind is running scenarios, calculating how much she can invest without losing herself. Her body language might be reserved, her messages cautious, her laughter lighter, but underneath, her attention is entirely on you. Every detail matters. Every interaction is being felt deeply, even if it isn't overtly expressed. The men who succeed in these situations understand one critical rule: consistency beats intensity. Patience beats pressure. Calm beats confusion. When you respond with emotional steadiness, you allow her internal fear to relax. You give her heart a safe place to land, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, she begins to step forward again. Not because you forced closeness, but because she trusts you enough to feel it. And here's the final insight that changes everything. The signs she's pulling away are not signals to chase or prove your worth. They are invitations to understand, to respect, and to quietly hold space for her emotions. The more you honor that space, the more she reveals the depth of her investment. The more patient, attentive, and stable you are, the more she realizes that her fear was never about you. It was about learning to trust that loving you won't cost her herself. So, if you've noticed distance, confusion, or hesitation from the woman you care about, remember this: her heart is already there. What's missing is the safe container to let it fully emerge. Recognize it, respect it, and you'll witness attachment unfolding quietly, powerfully, and unshakably. This is the secret men rarely see, the hidden depth of a woman who cares too much to risk losing herself, and by extension, cares too much for you.